The story starts in the year 1990, where we see an old man, on the verge of passing away from several severe wounds, checking out his surroundings. He sees that everyone around him are in very deeply injured condition like him. He feels like after everything he did, nothing ended up changing and he still couldn't protect what was valuable to him. As time slowly winds down on his life, he accepts the fact that this is how his life will come to an end. Coming to the core of the story, we see an old man on his birthday, eating lunch with his business partners and co-workers at a meeting. One of his fellow co-workers insists that he has something special like jjajangmyeon, which is a Korean delicacy for a special day of his life. However, the old man says that he doesn't want to eat anything more and decides to get up and end the meeting abruptly. Everyone asks him why he is ending the meeting so abruptly. After all, they had just started it. But the old man tells them that there are kids waiting for him, so he promises to have a meeting with them at another time. The old man is the boss of the Taesung Group, a well-known organization in South Korea, named Kang Deokbi. Then we see Mr. Kang inside his car, talking to someone he thinks of as a son of his, the second in charge of the Taesung Group, Cheon Dooho. Mr. Kang asks Cheon Dooho about how the latest business partnership of theirs have been going, to which Cheon Dooho says that it has been going well and the construction for the site is already underway. Cheon Dooho then suggests to Mr. Kang that he should probably pay a visit to his family that is nearby on his 50th birthday. Mr. Kang misses his family and part of him wants to do it. However, he goes against the suggestion and instead opts to meet the people waiting for him at the hotel, who he refers to as his real family. Meanwhile, back in the meeting room, the meeting is concluded and the participants are talking about what kind of person Mr. Kang Deokbi is. They discuss how Mr. Kang is dedicated to his organization. He thinks every member as his family. He always treats everyone with love, whether they're new or old. Mr. Kang always meets up with each and every member of his de facto family every year and go over them one by one and address all of their problems and spends the day with them. Back in the hotel, we see that Mr. Kang Deokbi is indeed doing that, asking every member that ever joined his group about their life and their needs, and also provides them with the resources they require. Mr. Kang is told that he is done talking to each and everyone, and so he goes up on the stage to give a speech to his beloved family members. Mr. Kang Deokbi thanks everyone for coming to the celebration of the 50th birthday of his old self. He thanks everyone for being a part of his family and wishes that they continue to grow and live earnestly as they have done so far. Mr. Kang then notices a new face in the party and invites the youngster over to the stage. He asks the new boy if he is new to the group, to which the boy replies by saying that he is. Mr. Kang then asks the boy how old he is. The boy says that he is 15. This makes this boy by far the youngest person in their group, and Mr. Kang asks him about his parents. The boy says he has no idea about his parents, whether they're alive or not, because he has always been alone. Mr. Kang then accepts the boy as a member of his family and says that this day is now more happier because not only is it his birthday, but also the day where he found a new family member. And as he is happy and is rejoicing the moment, the kid stabs Mr. Kang Deokbi in the midriff with a knife. This then starts an all-out rampage where we see dozens and dozens of assailants armed with a decently sized knife come forth and start stabbing the members of the Taesung group. One of them try to reach and attack the already wounded Mr. Kang. However, Cheon Dooho intercepts and beats him down. Cheon Dooho then suggests Mr. Kang to leave for the hospital. The fight continues all the while. Taesung group trying their best to fight against armed opponents at a time when they weren't even prepared to do so, and they try their best. However, the knife advantage is too much. Mr. Kang joins in on the fight and takes out a few people on his own. Mr. Kang then tells Cheon Dooho that he cannot leave his children fighting on their own, and that he must fight with them till the end and protect them. And so on, Mr. Kang uses his experience and strength to keep fighting despite his wound, and Cheon Dooho also using his taekwondo kicks to fight off the attackers. One of the attackers tries to stab Mr. Kang in the back, but they're intimidated by his presence and the gangster tattoo he has on his back. Mr. Kang Deokbi turns around and tells him that it would have been better if the attacker didn't just look and stabbed him too. Just at that moment, another attacker stabs a different part of the lower abdomen of Mr. Kang with his knife, to which Mr. Kang adds that he should have stabbed him like this one. The fight eventually ends and the Taesung group are all left with heavy and in some cases mortal injuries. Mr. Kang's adoptive son, Park Dae-san, arrives to the scene and sees his father in the final moments of his life. Park Dae-san asks Chong Doo-ho to take his father to the hospital, but Chong Doo-ho says that he tried his best, but the man refused to take medical care, and now it is a little too late for that. Mr. Kong says that it is okay and that he really wanted to see Park Dae-san before closing his eyes. Mr. Kong then tells everyone to live and support each other like family even though there is no blood relationship. He then hands over the reins of the Taesung group to Chong Doo-ho before closing his eyes for the final time. However, his eyes suddenly open up and he sees a young kid and some beat-up people. He wonders how he is seeing this as he is not alive. He asks the kid what is going on, but he hears that they are people who collect money and hand it over to the Taesung group. This shocks Mr. Kong as he didn't know his Taesung group was doing this. Mr. Kong then realizes that the world he is in now is vastly different from the one he was in before. Later, we see Mr. Kong in his new form, and his partner in crime go to the office of the Taesung group. There, Mr. Kang's partner tells the boss that the collection of money got messy and a fight had ensued where his partner got hurt in the head and that his partner has been acting very differently ever since. Meanwhile, Mr. Kong wonders whether he is in a dream right now or if the previous life of his was the dream all along. He wonders how he is back to life after passing away. Nothing makes sense. However, more importantly, he doesn't understand how an organization like the Taesung group has fallen off so much. That they're collecting money from innocent weak people by threatening them. Mr. Kang's partner asks for better treatment because of his partner getting hurt, and the boss says that they will get it if they do their job well. They shouldn't care about anything and just focus on getting money back from those people. This angers Mr. Kong and he grabs the collar of the new boss and pulls on it. He asks the boss about who gave him the right to run this organization like this way. He asks what has happened to Doo-ho and Dae-san. However, Mr. Kang's partner pulls him off of the boss and cites his recent head injury as to why he is being aggressive and attacking the boss. Mr. Kong is mad and wants a piece of the boss, however his partner somehow drags him out of there before causing too many issues. He tells Mr. Kong that they need to talk. Fast forward, we see that Mr. Kong and his partner go to their apartment. Mr. Kong is confused and wonders why he was brought here of all the places. The partner tells him that he should have done better at controlling himself and should have endured it no matter how bad it felt, especially after he told to him that he wants to work in the underworld. Mr. Kong listens to all of this and simply asks back his partner if it is okay in any way to torture the weak and suck their money off of them. The partner says that gangsters aren't working employees like others and they won't get paid for so easily. However, Mr. Kong says that while he understands his point, but he doesn't understand why they're using the Taesung group's name to do so. He says that he didn't raise his children in this manner. His partner doesn't understand this and asks what happened to Lee Tae-jun for him to act like this when he was more of a gangster than him before all this. Mr. Kong says that he must have made a mistake because his name is Kong Deokbi and that his partner is like the same age as his son. His partner grabs his face and says that he is younger than him before turning his face to the mirror where Mr. Kong sees his new face for the first time and wonders who it is. He can't recognize the young man he has become. Mr. Kong Deokbi is now Lee Tae-jun. His partner asks if he was acting all weird this whole time because he was embarrassed of his face, but Lee Tae-jun, we will refer to him as that from now on, notices that he doesn't even have a similar body structure or the special back tattoo of his. The partner asks if he is pretending to be suffering from amnesia now, before he notices that Lee Tae-jun is very distressed and asks if he really doesn't remember. He then tries to help him by telling him that his name is Hwang Tae-ha and he is 26 years old, and that he is Lee Tae-jun and he is 23 years old. He informs him that they're in March of 2022. This part shocks Lee Tae-jun as he passed away in the 1990s in his past life as Kong Deokbi. He doesn't know what explanation is to the phenomena of him being reborn in this new body. Is he a ghost? Hwang Tae-ha then asks for his phone. However, Lee Tae-jun doesn't know what a phone is. Hwang Tae-ha shows him what a phone is and says that if he is acting, then this will get him in tons of problems. He then checks his phone and sees that he really doesn't have anyone close to him, no family, no friends. Hwang Tae-ha then suggests that he shouldn't go to work in this current state as that will only cause issues for him. However, Lee Tae-jun is adamant on going to work as he knows that they are working as errand boys and money collector at the Taesung group, and he wants to know more about the organization. He wants to go to work right away. However, they hear a knock on the door and Tae-ha opens it up. They see that it's the landlord and Hwang Tae-ha is embarrassed because he can't pay the whole rent to him. But the landlord is nice and says that they're young, so they shouldn't take it too hard and pay it back slowly. Besides, he wasn't there to take the rent. Instead, he had some boiled sweet potatoes and he didn't have anyone to share it with, so he had brought them to eat together with the young lads. Tae-ha is grateful and they end up having a conversation and eat the food together. Later on, we see that Lee Tae-jun and Hwang Tae-ha are at work in the Taesung Group's office and they're given the duty to collect money from someone. They get to know from a senior that they're going to be taking money from a harder target this time. And so Hwang Tae-ha tells Lee Tae-jun to be cautious and not screw up anything like last time. He also says that he will support Tae-jun with stuff until he regains his memory. Later on, we see them going on duty to recollect the money from someone, and to the surprise of Tae-ha and Tae-jun, they're taking it back from the landlord of their house. The landlord is an old man and they barge into the house, saying that the old man's son had taken a huge loan and hasn't returned it. However, maybe his father will be the one paying it back. We then see a peek into the conversation they had the night before when the old man informed them how much the house means to him, because the memories of his late wife and his son who lives independently now is always there. And that is why he doesn't leave the house despite being lonely. So when the thug tried to make him sign papers to hand over the rights to sell the house, it breaks him down. The thug says that he will only take back the money his son owes to them and return the rest of the money they make from the sale. The old man begs for them to not go after his house as that means the world to him. However, that doesn't stop the thug, and he ends up punching the elderly man because he was annoying him. The thug tries to attack even more, but Hwang Tae-ha stops his senior from doing so. He says that they shouldn't do something like this after barging into the man's house. This pisses off the senior and he is about to punch Hwang Tae-ha, but Lee Tae-jun steps in and grabs his arm, stopping him from doing so. He tells the thug that Tae-ha is correct and that doing something like that could get the police involved and get them into big trouble. The thug tries to get out of Tae-jun's grip, but it is too strong and eventually gives up. Back at the office, we see the boss slapping and beating up the thug for not being able to collect back the money and getting scared by the police despite being affiliated with the Taesung Group. He then asks for who had stopped the thug from continuing and Tae-ha says that it was him, but Lee Tae-jun also ends up saying that it was him who stopped the thug. The boss says that Tae-jun has been bothering him since last time and he wants to have some talk with him in private. Tae-jun says that he can hear him from here too and refuses to talk privately. This angers the boss and he walks up to Tae-jun himself and slaps him repeatedly for doing what he did. However, Tae-jun just smirks and says that he doesn't understand why they have to do things like torturing the weak for money and why he is tarnishing the name of the organization like that. Tae-jun then grabs the boss' arm and twists it viciously, making the boss fall down to his knees. He then tells the boss that he has no right to lead this organization when he is so weak and that the organization has always been led by strong men. He then also reveals the messy tattoo of a tiger on the boss' hands and says that the tattoo holds no meaning. It shows one of two things: either the tattoo is fake and holds no significance to him, or the organization is in shambles for it to be on the body of such weak and evil men. Lee Tae-jun then pins the boss down against his desk and says that he is glad that he is not a real member of the organization, hence the messy tattoo. Hwang Tae-ha then tells Tae-jun to stop and asks what does he even intend to do with these things. Right then, the boss yells out at the other thugs, asking if they'll just stand there and watch him getting beaten up. One of the thugs is fired up by this and he runs in to attack Lee Tae-jun and free the boss. However, Tae-jun just simply turns around and throws a devastating punch to knock him down right there. This punch sends shockwaves throughout the room as the atmosphere has completely changed upon seeing the power that Lee Tae-jun possesses. Tae-jun then asks everyone if they're really gonna act up and defend a man who is worse than an animal. It's good being loyal, but if you're loyal to this guy, you must come forward and fight Tae-jun. Then we see a car arriving to the office and see a few Taesung Group members walking out of it in their suits. They look like they're in a hurry as they walk upstairs. They are talking about how they'll be screwed up if they can't get the collection of money right soon, and so they enter the office room only to see the carnage that was caused by Lee Tae-jun. They ask them if they all beat up their group member like that, to which Tae-jun replies by saying that he did it on his own. The main guy says that he was going to clean up this office anyway today, however, because Tae-jun beat up the guy who was a member of his group until now, he wants to teach Tae-jun a lesson for it. Tae-jun asks him if he is a member of the Taesung Group, to which the guy says that he is surprised that Tae-jun came to fight them despite knowing that. Tae-jun then asks the guy to stop talking and take off his clothes so that he can check if he is a real member with a proper tattoo. or one with a fake one like the dude from earlier. The main guy then orders his stooges to go ahead and beat up Tae-jun. One of the stooges jumps in with a flying knee. However, Tae-jun sidesteps and grabs his head to smash him down to the ground. The next guy runs in as well, but Tae-jun just delivers a simple punch to him to counter his momentum against him. Tae-jun then crouches down on the next person running in towards him. He grabs a hold of his clothes and pivots to drag his body up and slam it down to the floor. This leaves the main guy to go up against Tae-jun. The guy praises Tae-jun's skills, but states that Tae-jun isn't good enough to beat him up yet. Tae-jun responds by saying that the guy is nowhere near his level. The guy then steps forward to deliver a boxing punch, but Tae-jun crouches down and punches the guy in the ribs from the side. He then tells him that there is a big gap in their skill level, as he delivers another shot which was blocked by the guy. The guy understands that he can't keep blocking him, as even doing that hurts him too much. Tae-jun then grabs a hold of his head before hitting his head with his own with force and beating him down. Others look at him and wonder just how much of a monster this guy is. Tae-jun checks the guy's body to find a proper tiger tattoo on his left pec, confirming that it's a real member. Tae-jun then also sees the guy's phone ringing and tells Tae-ha that his thing is going off making beep beep sounds. Tae-ha realizes that it's a call and tells him it's a phone ringing. Tae-jun asks if they can control his superiors using this phone, to which Hwang Tae-ha asks just how much trouble he wants to create for them. Then we see more cars arrive to the office building as a bunch of the Taesung group's members show up for what happened. They enter and are welcomed by Tae-jun. The lower-level members are all angry and are demanding an answer from Lee Tae-jun. However, the higher-up member stops them from shouting, and instead opts for a calm approach. The people who got beat up earlier apologize to this higher-up member, and he says it's fine. He sits down and praises Tae-jun for being so young and still being able to fight a strong man like Seokdi. Lee Tae-jun says that he doesn't want to stretch this talk too much and says that he wants to join the Taesung group. The man politely tells him that after beating up so many of their members, he wants to join that group. It doesn't work that way. The man understands what Tae-jun says, but says that it's still too early for them. He barely knows him and doesn't know if he can trust him to be a member. Tae-jun explains by saying that he just beat up people who were running an illegal side business without the main organization's knowledge, so it's not like they want to hang over on people like that. While Tae-jun didn't think they'd be able to communicate normally, and that's why he did it. However, they're communicating now, so it's fine. He then asks the person if he knows about Cheon Doo-ho. This shocks the higher-up member as he immediately takes Tae-jun to the car to talk in private. He asks Tae-jun where he got to know that name from. Tae-jun says that he did some research about the organization to get into it. The man then explains to Tae-jun that there might be problems if he adds Tae-jun to the organization after what he did, so instead he would like to give Tae-jun an indirect job under him for now. He then warns Tae-jun, saying that if a young man like him wants to join the underworld, he should think about his family and close ones, as they might get in trouble, so might want to fix that beforehand. 3 days later, we see that Tae-jun is lying down at the house given to him by the man and still thinking about what he said and thinks about his old family as Kang Deokbi. Tae-ha asks Tae-jun just what he said to the man that made him give him such a job and trust him. However, Tae-jun instead asks Tae-ha if he knows where Baek Ha-dong is, and if he will take him there. Then we see Lee Tae-jun and Hwang Tae-ha in the small town of Baek Ha-dong. Tae-ha keeps asking why he came to this town and whether or not he has someone he wants to see from this place. Tae-jun doesn't answer as he is drowned in his thoughts. He wonders how much the face of his wife has changed from 30 years ago back when he was still Kang Deokbi. Just at that moment, he sees an elderly woman talking to a young girl about going to a meat restaurant and trying out the meat there. The woman was unmistakably his wife from the past. This brings back some traumatic memories of when there was something very gruesome he went through in front of her and his child. Then, his wife told her that their child was not talking ever since he saw that, and that she gets the chills whenever she sees him, and while it might be very hard on their child to not see the father, it's what they have to do. Lee Tae-jun instinctively tries to call out to her but stops himself and says that he took the wrong path and gets away from her and hides in a corner with Hwang Tae-ha. Tae-ha still keeps asking him about what he said to the man inside the car to convince him to get the job. Meanwhile, we see that man talking to someone he set up to keep an eye on Tae-jun. He learns that he hasn't done anything unusual for the last 3 days except for going out to eat. He then wonders if he should keep an eye on him for longer or just go forward with the test himself. We then see that on his desk, It's written that his name is Cheon Sung-jin, someone who is potentially related to Cheon Doo-ho. Then we get to see the first stage of the test. The thugs from before who worked as money collectors apologize to Tae-ha and Tae-jun, and they get back their job with them. The office will now be run by Lee Tae-jun. This is the job given to him by CEO Cheon Sung-jin. As they are setting up, Sung-jin calls Tae-jun and asks him to do the first job for him. Tae-jun asks if it's a money-collecting job, and if so, is it a job where they want him to use force to get back money from someone? He then hangs up the call and informs the squad that they need to go on a money-collecting job. Fast forward to when they arrive at the place to collect the money, we see the man who they are supposed to collect money from, Mr. Kim, is there, planning to give the money to someone else. However, that is when the squad gets in and starts showing violent sides to them to threaten Mr. Kim to get back the money they owe to the Taesung group. The thugs from before try to take it further, but Tae-jun tells them to stop, and he informs Mr. Kim that they don't want to use violence to get back the money. Then we get a peek into the full call conversation between Tae-jun and Sung-jin, where Sung-jin tells him that they need to collect money for Mr. Kim's CO bag. He isn't a poor, weak man. Instead, he is someone who runs a gambling circuit. He has taken several loans from the Taesung group and used that money to get a building to make an illegal gambling spot, and has been extorting money from others to increase the capital. Not only that, he used his father and mother-in-law's assets to get university loans, as he runs out of money quickly from his own gambling habit. So Sung-jin orders Tae-jun and his boys to retrieve at least the principal loan money at all costs and do whatever it takes to do so. However, after the call is hung up, Sung-jin tells his assistant that the guy has also taken a loan from the Hyeonkyol group, a group almost as strong as Taesung group, and that they'll be collecting money from Mr. Kim too. So if Tae-jun and his squad crosses over to their territory, there will be a conundrum, and he wants to see how that all plays out. And just like that, we see that the Hyeonkyol group are also there, and they are very mad after seeing Taesung group's people there too. Tae-jun is a bit taken aback, as he wasn't informed about something like this happening. The thugs from the Hyeonkyol group are mad at them for stepping into their territory, and so they decide to launch an attack on Tae-jun and his squad. However, the several thugs from the Hyeonkyol group are no match for Tae-jun, as he uses his fighting skills to punch and kick each of them away. Tae-jun then tells his squad that he feels that they are stronger than these guys, and so they also join in on the fight. It's an all-out brawl, and Taesung group, with the help of Lee Tae-jun, takes the upper hand. But just as it seems like they're gonna win, the main thug from Hyeonkyol group takes the thug who attacked the landlord under hostage. He tells Tae-jun to drop down on his knees and surrender. The rest of the thug are shocked when they see that Tae-jun is willing to drop down for someone who was against him not long ago. After Tae-jun drops his guard, the thug orders one of his lackeys to attack him with a stick. The lackey hits Tae-jun's head so hard that the stick breaks. However, Tae-jun is unfazed by it and asks what they'll do next. The thug orders the lackey to hit harder with another stick. Just when he is about to do that, Hwang Tae-ha comes from behind and hits the main thug with a fire extinguisher to the head to drop him down. The thug is livid and calls Taesung group cowards for attacking from behind. However, Tae-jun calls him a coward for approaching the situation violently when he asked them to solve it together, and says that they need some special education from the man Lee Tae-jun himself. The story continues, and we see the context of Hwang Tae-ha appearing suddenly at the scene of the fight. Hwang Tae-ha asked Lee Tae-jun just why they had brought so many people to a normal building fight, to which Lee Tae-jun replied by saying that there was something that he wanted Tae-ha to do for him. We then see the squad going inside the building. However, Hwang Tae-ha stayed back. As time went on, Tae-ha saw how people from the Hyeoncheol group suddenly entered the building, and then chaos ensued in the building. This made Tae-ha call the seniors and report on it, while he also told them that he will be going on ahead to the inside, which is how we got him to suddenly appear to help Tae-jun. Back to the current time, we see that the main thug from the Hyeoncheol group is fighting with Lee Tae-jun, while he is armed with a knife and Tae-jun is not. However, the Hyeoncheol group thug wonders just why does he feel like he is at a disadvantage when wielding a knife against a guy who is fighting barehanded. What surprises him further is that how Lee Tae-jun is being basically fearless against a knife, when he has seen even full-fledged gangsters struggle against the knife. Yet this daredevil man deals with it like it's nothing. We then see Tae-jun opening his body up to lure in the thug, before hitting a punch to the gut, which takes the wind out of his opponent. Tae-jun then follows it up with a massive punch to the head of the thug, which well and truly beats the opponent done. However, the monster that is Lee Tae-jun isn't done playing, so he goes ahead and tells the thug to get up and start attacking him with a knife again. We then see one of the people of the Taesang group who had witnessed all this go down tell how it went down. As we see how Lee Tae-jun once again beat up the Highschooler thug, the other guy in the car describes how he didn't feel like he would be a match for Lee Tae-jun, and it wasn't just about him hitting well, it was Tae-jun's skills which made the big difference. Even though Tae-jun is someone who is in his 20s, he seemed like a pro, someone who is at the peak of his powers, and someone with a lot of experience. We then see Tae-jun skillfully dodging attacks from the Highschooler thug and hitting him with a barrage of blows. The guy then also describes how all of Tae-jun's punches had a very stingy effect to it. However, the punch which hits the hardest was the one which he delivers the last. We then see the punch knocks out the Highschooler lackey, while the thug who was describing all of this arrives to the scene. Later on, it is seen that Tae-ha and Lee Tae-jun are sitting down with the person who had come to pick them up. The person tells them that they've gotten themselves into a bit of an issue with the Highschooler group, and that's why they needed to step in and take a check on them. Knowing the history of their organization, it's one of the necessities, and so the person apologizes to them for making them uncomfortable. Hwang Tae-ha says that it is okay, while Tae-jun thinks that he should deal with this like someone who is a 23-year-old, rather than the old man that he is in actuality. The person then tells them that they've done their job properly, and that he would love to have them on his side, working for him from now onwards. Lee Tae-jun hears this, and without wasting any time, he tells the guy that he is willing to work for him. However, he has a couple of questions, which he wants the answers to, before they can take things any further. Hwang Tae-ha is ticked off by this, as he thinks that Lee Tae-jun is talking too highly for someone of his stature in society. But the person tells Tae-ha that it is okay, and then tells him to ask the question. Tae-jun then asks about the state of the Taesang group as it stands, saying that the group is not as he thought it was, stating that even though he punched a guy, he didn't do anything to the weak. However, the actions of the group have been very bad and against his own personal beliefs. The person, before answering, glances at Hwang Tae-ha to tell him to leave, and as Tae-ha is about to leave, Lee Tae-jun stops him. Tae-jun tells the person that Tae-ha is the closest person he has to family, and that they all need to listen to this. The person understands the sentiment and continues on what he was about to say. He states that the Taesang organization has become a firm of sorts now. They are running small businesses such as construction and security work. However, in actuality, the Taesang group only use those things as a distraction to what they actually do, that being gangster work. They literally do everything illegal, from gambling to extorting. They do everything bad imaginable. And as for what Tae-jun said about protecting the weak and fighting the strong, no such rules exist within the organization. In fact, they actually prefer targeting the weak as they don't fight back and are an overall easy venture. He says that he has no idea how Tae-jun's perception of the group really is, but what he told him just now is the absolute, unfiltered truth. Regardless of whether Tae-jun likes it or not, is another topic on its own. Hearing this, Tae-jun goes into a state of shock, as he can't believe how his group, his family turned out this way. Tae-jun thinks about his life as Mr. Kong, and how it was common for people of that time to not know about their parents. He idolized the people who fought off the gangsters and became like them, fighting the strong for the weak. He also wanted to start his own family, and while it was hard, it was important. Mr. Kong then built his own organization and started taking in people to that organization, and the people there became his spiritual family. He chose Dae-san and Cheon-doo-ho as his sons and successors. Later down the line, it got tough for them to carry on, as the newer kids started in fighting, and a separation seemed like a real prospect. However, Cheon-doo-ho then created a new code of conduct, the Code of Oneness. The code stated that they must all act based on logic, and that they should never attack the weak, and that they should always help them. And finally, that they were all family, and that part would never change. Tae-jun thinks about the time he passed away as Mr. Kong, and that, even then, everything seemed fine. When did it go wrong? Tae-jun then comes back to his senses and asks his second question to the man. He asks about Dae-san and Cheon-doo-ho, and how those two were really noble and wouldn't let things go stray this way. The person then answers by telling Tae-jun his full name, that being Cheon Sung-jin, which makes him the son of Cheon-doo-ho. Meanwhile, we see someone telling the leader of the Highschooler group Mr. Wu Haiyan-cheol, about how the people from the Taesang organization beat up their people. Mr. Wu Haiyan-cheol then asks the person besides him if he will be okay with it because it is his family. The man, who is the lone representative of the Taesang organization, named Kim Gang-do, says that he wants Haiyan-cheol to educate him about the industry as a senior, and that this is something that needs to be done. We then go back to the meeting where Cheon Sung-jin states that he wants to finish off the Taesang group, and that he wants the help of Lee Tae-jun in doing so. The story then goes into a mini flashback, where we see Mr. Kong, Cheon Do-ho and Dae-san in a sit-down. There, Mr. Kong tells Dae-san to get married, as he knows that there is a woman he likes, so he thinks that he should tie the knot. Dae-san replies to this by saying that he doesn't want the burdens of a married man, and that he is content with his life as is. Mr. Kong gets annoyed by this, and asks Cheon Do-ho what can be done regarding this situation. Cheon Do-ho replies, saying that he needs not to worry about such a thing, and that he is sure that Dae-san will get married soon. Dae-san hits back at him by saying that he is only able to say this because he is a married man himself, and that he is unsure of how a man like Cheon Do-ho can get married, with the personality that he does have. Dae-san and Mr. Kong then starts teasing Cheon Do-ho, saying that his son doesn't look like him and looks like his wife, which is why he is cute, and then they ask about how his son, Sung-jin, is nowadays. They say that they haven't met his son since he was a little kid, and that they are starting to forget Sung-jin's face even. Cheon Do-ho then says that he will bring Sung-jin with him one of the days, so that they will be able to meet him. Back to the present time, Lee Tae-jun asks Sung-jin that if he is the son of Cheon Do-ho, then what is he doing there? And that they can just directly meet with Cheon Do-ho themselves to discuss the actual meat and potatoes. Cheon Sung-jin replies to this by saying that there is a personal issue that stops him from getting them meeting his dad, and that the rest can be talked about depending on whether Lee Tae-jun agrees to work with them or not. This leaves Tae-jun at a lack of words to say, as he is backed into a corner to making a decision. Some time passes, and we see that Lee Tae-jun and Hwang Tae-ha are sitting at the place they live in. Tae-ha asks Tae-jun just what he wants to do, and this makes Tae-jun think about what Cheon Sung-jin told him, and he says that he thinks that it seems like that what he said was true. And from how he behaves and looks, it was certain that he really is the son of Cheon Do-ho. However, it bothers him that his family ended up turning out like this, and he wonders if he can even use this body of his to fix all the things that went wrong. Tae-jun then asks Hwang Tae-ha what he will do if he finds out that his own family is going through a wrong path. Hwang Tae-ha is a bit taken aback by this sudden question, but he gathers himself and says that there is no point in asking questions with obvious answers to them. Tae-ha adds that he will definitely try to send them to the correct path, if that was to be needed. Tae-jun further adds to his question by asking if Tae-ha would do the same 30 years after the fact. Would he still show up in front of them after that long? Tae-ha listens to this and replies, saying that there is never too late for family, and that he will try to help them regardless. He then further adds, saying that he is willing to listen to anything that Tae-jun has to say. Tae-jun feels encouraged by this response, and says that he would like to go with Cheon Sung-jin, and asks Tae-ha what he would do. Tae-ha says that he will definitely go along with Tae-jun because he considers him family, and that he can never let a man who has issues with remembering things stray alone. The rest of Tae-jun's squad listens to this, and they also tell Tae-jun that they would like to go along with them too. The scene then shifts to the office of the Haiyan-cheol management group, where we see a kid on his computer. Then, one of the lackeys of Lee Tae-jun enters the building and asks him if they have any customers, to which the guy replies that they don't have any on the day. The guy then notices the hostile situation around him and crumbles up in fear. However, he is let go by the group, as he is just a part-timer. We then see that the people from the Taesang group has arrived for an attack, and they are led by Lee Tae-jun and Suk-dae. We then see the context of this, as a flashback shows Sung-jin welcoming Tae-jun to the family, and telling him that he plans on destroying the Taesang group meticulously by making them unstable. However, they first need to deal with the Haiyan-cheol group, as a lot of Taesang group stuff are overlapping with them, and they have a hostile relationship. Sung-jin further goes and adds that the Haiyan-cheol group are very strong, as they have 3 times the people of the Taesang group, and they are led by 3 very strong powers, Mr. Haiyan-cheol himself and the Mindu twins. He also says that besides him, No one except for maybe Tae-jun will be able to take on those guys. Lee Tae-jun listens to this and adds his own idea, saying that they should do a preemptive attack on the Hyun group, and that Cheon Sung-jin can take on one of the twins, and he can take on the other. Kim Suk-dae doesn't like this idea, and tells Tae-jun that he is overrating himself, and is getting ahead of himself. Hwang Tae-ha intervenes, by adding that the idea isn't as bad as it sounds. He says that they are led by those 3 powerful guys, but the rest are still handleable, and that even though they are lesser in numbers, they can give it a try. Hwang Tae-ha further goes on to add that an all-out war with them is dangerous when all things considered. However, if they somehow manage to take out a bulk of those people beforehand, the task in hand will be much easier for them to handle. The scene then changes, and we see Cheon Sung-jin hit a random Hyun group thug with a hook kick to knock him down. Hwang Tae-ha is also present there, kicking some butt. The two of them then realize that they've already wiped out everyone put in front of them. Tae-ha praises Cheon Sung-jin for his effortless work and states that by doing it like this, they're making a good chance for themselves, and that the rest of the mantle is for Tae-jun to carry, as he enters the hotel room of danger all alone. The scene then changes to inside the hotel room, where we see various members of the Hyun group, including one of the Mindu twins, having a blast. Just then, they hear a bang on the door, and upon inspecting further, they see that Lee Tae-jun has arrived to the room. One of the lackeys approaches Lee Tae-jun and tries to discipline him for entering the room without notice. However, Tae-jun beats up the man with utter ease. This puts everyone on notice, and Tae-jun then calls out the Mindu twins for a fight. This angers the lackeys, and they decide to attack Tae-jun. However, one of the Mindu twins stops his lackeys. Tae-jun then starts taunting the twin, saying that he doesn't want to talk to the junior. This pisses off the twin, as he clarifies, saying that they are named Choi Cheol-min and Choi Cheol-do. He states that they are called the Mindo twins and not the Mindu twins. Cheol-min further goes on to say that he is not the junior and that he is, in fact, 10 minutes older, and as he says that, Cheol-min goes on to attack Lee Tae-jun. The attack is quick, however, Lee Tae-jun easily manages to escape it and throw a big punch of his own, which connects to the face of Choi Cheol-min. This shocks everyone. However, Cheol-min assures his people, saying that he is not getting hurt from getting hit by people like Tae-jun. However, this backfires quickly, because Lee Tae-jun quickly follows it up with a rapid fast combination that does hurt. Choi Cheol-min realizes that Tae-jun is quick. However, he doesn't give him much credit for all that matters. Tae-jun understands the situation and decides to try something different, as he goes to grapple with Cheol-min. This attempt from Tae-jun amuses Cheol-min, as he says that Tae-jun is just feeding himself to him. However, to his surprise, Tae-jun ends up hitting Cheol-min with a Northern Lights suplex. This shocks everyone as Cheol-min is out, and Tae-jun calls out all the lackeys, saying if they will just stand and watch their boss getting decimated. Meanwhile, we see that Suk-dae and his squad are done beating up the people they had against them, and Suk-dae wonders what happened to the other guys, especially Tae-jun, as he is nowhere to be seen. Just at that moment, Lee Tae-jun appears in front of Suk-dae, and he says that he wants some custom gloves, because his hands are getting dirty. Tae-jun keeps adding to the joke by saying that he wants various other things, including a fedora. On the other hand, Suk-dae is shocked that Tae-jun easily took out such a strong opponent, and he is being so casual about it. The scene then changes to an office room, where it is seen that the other Mindo twin, Choi Cheol-do, is having a conversation with Mr. Hyun, suggesting to him that he should quicken things up and deal with Taesang Company, because if they don't, Gang-do needs to make a move about it, which is not ideal. Mr. Hyun think this is all a bit crinkly. Right then, they hear someone knocking on the door, and Choi Cheol-do allow them to get in. The person says that it is very urgent, and Cheol-do replies to this by saying that he should tell it quickly. As the person is about to start and tell the higher-ups about what went down with them the night before, a phone goes off in the room. Mr. Hyun picks it up, and on the call is none other than Cheon Sung-jin, who gets straight to the point by saying that he is not going to kid around anymore, and that he is ready for a showdown. Sung-jin further adds that he won't be waiting for too long, and so Mr. Hyun better answer him quick. Later on, the scene changes to a location that is abandoned, and there sits the boss of the Hyun group, Mr. Hyun, as he is flanked by numerous lackeys. Right then, we see Taesang group have arrived to the scene, led by Cheon Sung-jin. Hwang Tae-ha sees the large group of people ahead of them and says that they really are at a huge deficit. However, the confidence and moral is still high within the group, as before coming to meet the Hyuncheol group, Cheon Sung-jin gave his people a speech, where he told them that he is thankful for the good work Hae did to wipe out a large number of people from the Hyuncheol group beforehand. However, he points out that they are still behind the Hyuncheol when it comes to amount of people. That being said, he feels like they can still win this. Back to the current situation, Sung-jin starts the talk by telling Mr. Hyuncheol that he is sorry for meeting him like this. Mr. Hyuncheol replies that there is still time left for him to understand his mistake, get on his knees, and apologize for crossing the line. Sung-jin replies to this by saying the Hyuncheol group were the ones who started this and crossed the line. This angers Mr. Hyuncheol, as he says that this has escalated beyond the point of talking and solving, and that they should start the proceedings now. This lights up both parties, as we see Taesang group and Hyuncheol group going all out against one another. The fight then sees everyone beating up anyone in their sight, and it was getting ugly. One of the guys from the Hyuncheol group targets Hwang Tae-ha in particular, and Tae-ha, who isn't a skilled fighter, tries his best to avoid that person. While he is at it, Tae-ha ends up running into another dude, and it seems like it is over for him. However, at that point, one of Tae-jun's lackey comes to save Tae-ha. The lackeys then go at it and tell Tae-ha to stay back, as the people from the Hyuncheol group are much stronger than what they had expected. We then see a full-out fight taking place once again. Kim Suk-dae is also one of the guys engaged in combat. Suk-dae wonders just how there are so many people in the Hyuncheol group after them taking out a great portion the night before. As he is thinking about this while on the attack, one of the Hyuncheol's goon gets behind him and is about to take him out. However, Tae-jun comes to the scene to save the day. Tae-jun then tells Kim Suk-dae to be alert and takes over the fight for himself. It is Tae-jun versus a huge group of people, but Tae-jun takes them head-on and beats them all up with all sorts of techniques such as kicks, punches, elbows, knees, etc. Lee Tae-jun understands that this lighter body, which is trained well and is young, is nice to use, and that's why he will make the best of it. Kim Suk-dae sees the beatdown being laid out by Lee Tae-jun, and he can't help but wonder if Tae-jun is just as, if not stronger than, the boss himself. Suk-dae then comes back to his senses as he sees Cheon Sung-jin fight on the other side, him absolutely decimating everyone in his path, with the utmost ease. As he is on his path of destruction, Sung-jin runs into the Mindo twins, and then he is backed up by Lee Tae-jun. Tae-jun thinks about how the boss has a much bigger goal than this, and how he should support it. Whereas, Sung-jin sees that they can't win a long battle, as they are simply not big enough in quantity, and they can't afford to make this any longer than it has already gone to. Tae-jun then assures Sung-jin by saying that he will take care of the Mindu twins, and that Sung-jin should focus on Mr. Hyuncheol. This angers the Mindo twins, as they are not the Mindu twins, and Cheol-min from before goes ahead to attack Tae-jun to take revenge. Whereas Sung-jin, who was walking away, was getting taunted by the other twin, Cheol-do. As Cheol-min about to take down Tae-jun, Tae-jun uses the logical move of disbalancing the much bigger opponent to send him down tumbling. Meanwhile, Cheol-do keeps taunting Sung-jin by calling him a coward. Tae-jun then quickly shifts his attention and hits Cheol-do with a punch, which doesn't do much damage, but it sends him back a few steps. Tae-jun then reassures the boss that he should go and beat up Mr. Hyuncheol, as they need to end it quickly, and that he will deal with the dastardly twins while he is at it. Sung-jin listens to this and goes on to fight the CEO of the Hyuncheol group, whereas Tae-jun gets ready to square up with the twins. Cheol-do tells Tae-jun that he and his boss are spoiled brats, and that they will both learn their lessons soon, to which Tae-jun says that they are the brats. Whereas, on the other side, Mr. Hyuncheol says that Sung-jin has a strong guy in his hand in the form of Tae-jun, and Sung-jin replies to this by saying that he values his man, and that he wants to finish this fight before he loses another man in this battle. And so, the big fights are about to begin. As time goes on, we see that the Mindo twins are arguing between themselves on who should take on Lee Tae-jun. They get quite heated up during this, and that is when Tae-jun, who was calmly watching all this unfold, say to them that they can both come at him at once for all that matters. This riles up Cheol Min in particular, who wants to go ahead and finish Tae-jun off right then. However, Cheol-do shows maturity then, making his brother understand how this is all a ploy from Tae-jun to get them mad, and that he should go after him first. Lee Tae-jun understands that Cheol-do is going to be a much tougher fight, because he is much calmer and collected than his brother. Meanwhile, on the other hand, the fight between the Taesang leader, Cheon Sung-jin, and Hyun Cheol leader, Mr. Hyun Cheol, has commenced. We see Mr. Hyun Cheol being on the aggressive to begin the fight, as he puts a lot of pressure on the Taesang leader and throws some textbook punches. However, Sung-jin is the younger of the two and immensely skilled, so he uses his superior foot movement to get away from the blows of Mr. Hyun Cheol, and when he finds the correct opportunity, lands a pretty powerful kick to the old man, which shakes him up. Sung-jin then uses this opportunity to land an incredible roundhouse kick to the Hyun Cheol CEO, which is mostly parried by the man. However, the sheer impact sends him flying back to the ground. Sung-jin then approaches the laid-out Mr. Hyun Cheol and politely tells him to get back up. Mr. Hyun Cheol finds this funny, as he replies that Sung-jin is a very well-spoken individual. As he has him caught up in the talk, Mr. Hyun Cheol delivers a massive punch and adds that there is no point in being nice in a real fight. We then see Mr. Hyun Cheol taking the charge once again, and he takes the fight to Sung-jin, saying that real fights are fought dirty and with the help of your surroundings. As he says this, he puts it into work, as we see Sung-jin getting pummeled by Hyun Cheol. On the other hand, a head-on fight between Tae-jun and one of the twins is happening. There, we see Tae-jun making out angles from short distances and landing a punch to the face of Cheol-do. However, Cheol-do doesn't even feel it. The close distance fight isn't helping Tae-jun, so he decides to create distance by landing leg kicks. The kicks aren't bothering the Mindo twin, however. Tae-jun stays to that tactic, as he knows that attacking the same spot will get him somewhere. Tae-jun further adds punches to the lung to his arsenal, and slowly it starts taking a toll on Tae-jun, and then finally the Mindo twin goes down. Meanwhile, the pummeling of Sung-jin continues, and Mr. Hyun Cheol also mocks him for his lack of fighting back, and this fires up Sung-jin, who starts pushing back with attacks of his own. This impresses Mr. Hyun Cheol, as he considers this a proper fight. However, Sung-jin isn't doing this without tactic. He is pushing forward with a quick bust. However, he creates distance as soon as he senses trouble. This tactic is bothering the Hyun Cheol boss, and for good reason, as Sung-jin throws his suit at Hyun Cheol to create some distraction. Meanwhile, the other Mindo twin calls out Tae-jun for a fight, but Tae-jun doesn't want it, and he starts running away towards the wall. Cheol Min follows him. However, this is all a trap by Tae-jun, who uses the wall to push off and deliver a strong kick to the jaw of the twin to knock him out. Surprisingly enough, on the fight, we see Sung-jin doing the exact same tactic, as he pushes against a box to launch himself and deliver a flipping kick, which knocks out Mr. Hyun Cheol. This makes sure that Taesang group are victorious, and this shocks everyone, as it is hard to digest that they have pulled it off for real. Tae-jun is also proud of Sung-jin for his skills, and wonders when the baby became such a cool boss. Just then, someone tries to attack Sung-jin from behind with a knife. However, the attack is stopped by the shady Gang-do, who tells Sung-jin to be careful, as he has a sinister look on his face.